So question 5 says, we'll have a 38-year-old woman who presents with a history highly suggestive of meningitis. She has no focal neurological deficit, I guess. Fundoscopy and head CT show no evidence of raised intracranial pressure. You perform a lumbar puncture under supervision of your resident. Which of the following findings on analysis of the CSF would be consistent with the diagnosis of bacterial meningitis, right? Giving you guys some time. Alrighty, cool. So everybody is saying C, right? So let me just go through teaching point. And then, we can continue. All right. So when we talk about meningitis, you have bacterial, you're going to have fungal, you're going to have viral, right? So these are the basic stuff you need to know. So for bacterial, right, what bacteria will do is it will be growing, it will be utilizing a lot of glucose because bacteria is a live organism. So it's going to utilize a lot of glucose. And as it's growing, it's also destroying tissue. So remember, any form of tissue that's anywhere in the body, it has protein. So when you have a bacterial meningitis, a lot of bacteria are growing, bacteria is dying, bacteria is also destroying tissue. You're going to get increased protein, right? And remember, bacteria utilize a lot of glucose to grow because it's a live organism. It's going to have decreased glucose, right? And then the next thing is, does anybody know what white blood cell, what specific type of white blood cell destroys bacteria? Anybody? And typed in the chat, anything? Nobody? All right, good. So in bacterial meningitis, you'll have increased neutrophils, right? So I have that out the way. That's clear. We're good. Now move on to fungal. So fungal, again, just like bacteria, it has increased protein because fungus is grow, fungus is die. It's a live organism. As it grows, it destroys tissue as well. So it produces a lot of protein. So you get a lot of protein in the CSF. Fungus, also a live organism. So you have decreased glucose because it's utilizing glucose to grow. Follow me? The only difference between a fungal meningitis and a bacterial meningitis is that fungal meningitis causes an increased lymphocyte. Yeah, so yeah, that's right, Maya. So also one of the other things is bacteria does affect glucose transporters as well. But I kind of just remember it this way just for the ease of it, so I kind of teach it that way. But yeah, bacteria also affects the glucose transporters. And that results in a decrease in glucose. All right, cool. So next thing, viral, right? Viral will have normal proteins, or it can have elevated proteins. So the question stem, it can present either way. So if they show you normal or elevated, can present either way. But viral organisms, they're not alive. It's not a live organism, so it's not utilizing glucose, right? So you have normal glucose here. And the particular white blood cell that damages or attacks viruses, similar to fungus, is lymphocytes. So you'll have an increased lymphocyte count, right? So just memorize this right here. Follow me? And then something that they can also include is opening pressure. So for bacterial, opening pressure is usually high, right? That's correct. And for fungus, opening pressure is usually slightly elevated for the opening pressure. Just slightly elevated, right? And then for viral, it's usually normal. Normal or slightly elevated, right? So that's it. Just memorize these for this particular question. That's the teaching point for this particular question. So if we look back on the answer options, it says what's most consistent with the diagnosis of a bacterial meningitis. A says low protein. We know it's not low protein, it's high protein. B says increased lymphocyte. We know that we see increased lymphocyte in fungal and viral, not bacterial, so you can rule that out. And then D says a normal opening CSF pressure. We know we can see a normal opening CSF pressure in viral, right? So you can rule that out. So just by process of elimination, the best answer would be C, but we also know it's C because we understand we swatted this, or we have an understanding of it, right? All right, good. So that's down. We can move on to the next set of questions. So I'm going to clear this, clearing it in 1, 2, 3, clear. All right, cool. Before I move on to the next question, just have a look at this particular thing. The same question we're looking at here, number 5. If you guys notice, if we read the last line, it's a long stem. If we read the last line where it says, which of following findings on analysis of CSF would be consistent with the diagnosis of bacterial meningitis? If we had just read that last line, we could have answered the question, right? So you see why I tell you guys, like, read the last line of the long stems, skim the options afterwards. Because some of the times you can just answer the question by just doing that, and you save time in your exam, right?